Hello, welcome. This is Henri. Want to talk about this artwork that I created. I would call this an over-executed sketch. This was not meant for accuracy. This was meant as a playful exploration, just letting my hand do what it wanted. And I grew more and more interested in it. I felt more and more of a connection. I couldn't put it down. I wanted to make it more real. I think I made it more rendered than I wanted to express in terms of the message I want to convey. I brought it in Procreate, did it in Artset 4. We're going to go through the time lapse. I want to talk about this. I brought it in Procreate so that I don't overwrite the original image by mistake, right? So with Dua, I think I over executed it because of this part. Uh, this part is rendered too much. I didn't want to be as realistic. I wanted these marks, this expression. That's what this really was about. I rendered it more as a form study to study how terminators work, how form works. So, the terminator is the darkest part of the shadow. So where the light just turns into shadow, that becomes the darkest part, that is the terminator. And depending upon the curvature of the surface, if the surface is a shallow curve this way, then the terminator on the surface is big. And if the surface is shallow or square, like a strong ridge, then the terminator tends to be thin. So based on the interplay between light and form, how can I convey the shape that I want? So if the cut of the light is this way, then what happens if the terminator is it's thin on one side and thick on the other side? What if it's thin on one side and thick on the other side? How does that look? And then render the form properly that way. What if it's thick on this side and thin on this side? How does that look? So the roundness of it, that's not necessarily the message. And then the form too. If I want a dip on this side, it's opposite from this side and this side. So if there is a ridge on this side, then it's going to be lit from this side because the light is from this side. And then if there were a dip on this side, then there would be a little bit of a shadow over here. So shadow is, dip is shadow and ridge is light. But if we had a reflected light, a little bit of reflected light from this side and mostly shadow on this side, then it would be the opposite. So a ridge would turn into shadow. And if there were a dip over here this way, like a dip over here this way, that would be light. So I was playing with that, how to control that. So if we were to make this lighter, it should form a hip dip the way. And then the bony part should be a sharper part because it's less round. So this is a ridge, so it should be dark on this side. So that's the form it conveys, and playing with the form, really feeling it out like a sculptor. The message of this piece, she feels like a mother in the sense that it is a parent to child transaction. These are ego states in transactional analysis. It's a concept in psychology. We have one of the three ego states active at one time: parent ego state, child ego state, or the adult ego state. The adult ego state thinks in objective reasons, evidence-based thinking. It is the most rational, but parent ego state is, you can imagine, right? You can read about it. So a transaction happens when two people are communicating and there's a parent and a child in one person and PSE in other person. So what connection is happening psychologically? If this is me and if this is the lover, the girlfriend, then this is my favorite type of transaction. And if I am psychologically in a state in that conversation relationship where I feel like a child and she feels like a parent to me because this is my favorite transaction, I feel loved. And if she's able to feel that way naturally, that she feels like a parent, then this transaction is happening psychologically and it may continue indefinitely. That is a beautiful thing. There are dynamics in relationships. It is possible for, a boy to be a parent to the girl's child as well and still feel like he's receiving something. So, this is my preference. So she feels like a mom, like a lover mom who is like saying, okay, I'll give it to you, but don't misbehave with this index finger. And, she's like in movement, in the swing of that action. Like she's about to give it to you. The bikini is coming off with strings over here. And, this is about relationship. This is about, you know, the time, intimate time alone with your wife, lover, girlfriend. So there's no sense of criticism in here. It is nurturing slash control. It is a controlling parent in a nurturing way. Like she's commanding the child, like, okay, I'm gonna give it to you, but don't misbehave. Like, it's cute, that seriousness. There is another second meaning. So this is tender and intimate to me. The second meaning is a different one. That is more like aimed towards the perverts who were constantly just talking about titties and asses and the stuff. Some people are like that on Reddit. Like once in a while you'll see that kind of person. Everything is peaceful, everyone is enjoying themselves and celebrating the woman and and grateful for what they have. And then an ungrateful person will come and just talk about ass and titties. And the concept is relationship. They are separating themselves from the woman because they feel insecure in some way. First of all, deep down they know that this is a fact that they cannot get her, therefore they feel jealous. Or you know and they will not accept this, that they cannot get her. And then they form this facade on top of the surface that because I cannot get her, oh, she's such a slut, look at her, she's dressing like that for someone else, I hate that. Or call her names and stuff. But who doesn't do that? Like, does a girl not do that for attracting a lover? Does she not do that for her boyfriend? Like Dua has a boyfriend, Anwar. What's wrong with, we could talk on that for, and so what if someone does not have a boyfriend? Anyway, it's a way of expression, right? So calling her names and stuff. So that objectification happens when a person separates themselves from the person so that they don't want to be in a relationship with her, but they also want to criticize her for the person she is. And then these things happen like titties and ass, and like the person appears as though he's just looking at the woman and looking at her titties and ass and like wants to criticize her, almost like he's going to want to rape her. He has no intention of establishing a connection with her. So this is like, but of course, a woman is not, just some helpless, a woman is not going to take that, the alpha woman. If you imagine a Wonder Woman, someone approaching her like that is going to get fucked in the head. Like, you know what I mean? You can't just do that, and even normally socially, you can't just do that. Women are powerful. So that is the message. Like, this is the fucking alpha woman, and this is what it is about tiger stripes. If these tiger stripes, tiger stripes, her claw over here, it's like she's saying to you, come find me in bed, come to the real thing, and you won't last a single second. So that when that person who is calling her names, they fap to her and they come to her from the image, it's like she's saying to them, "You're finished now. Fuck off." You know, if you can't, if you want to play with tigers, you know what I mean? So that fierceness is the message I was conveying with the tiger stripes. She is a tiger. So with this child, this, there is a contrasting tenderness in this. She's tender with the child and she's giving it to him, but to the external world, she is fiercely protective. She can defend herself, that is out of question. Like, of course, but she can also provide for the child and defend him as well. So when she turns around, and there's a connection in these two concepts over here, but where she suddenly says, "Okay, now let's continue." And from this Wonder Woman, brave fierceness, strength, deadly, like she can rip open someone's head in bed. She's suddenly tender and giving this to the child in a parent to child ego state transaction. So you can see how it was very rough. I did this for a friend. He wanted me to draw this. But when I started doing this, I started seeing my own vision in it. And then it became my own. How are you guys doing? I really want my art to be about relationships. I want there to be a sense of love and connection through these pieces. These are based on fantasy, and various fantasies relate with various people, and they result in various relationship dynamics. But it is a fact that they do exist in almost all people, and I want these beautiful, powerful artworks to inspire people to feel love, want, to reach out for it. So if someone sees something like this, and I want them to feel like, oh my God, I want to call my girlfriend. I miss her, or go meet her, or do something with her, have sex, or go out, whatever your love language is. Some people feel loved when they are given gifts. Some people love when get words of affirmation, like "I love you," "I'm proud of you," "You did a great job the other day. I'm so proud of you. I love how hard you're working." Some people love quality time, just spending time where the person puts their mobile, laptop device, everything down and looks at the person in the eye and spends time with them and listens to that person, is present in the moment. That is my favorite love language. That is my primary love language, quality time. Some people feel loved from acts of service when someone does their chores for them, doing the dishes for them, paying the bills, uh, helping them out in some way. And some people feel love through physical touch when they get hugged, uh, pats on the back rubs, sex too. And if you don't have a girlfriend, I want this artwork to make people feel inspired to analyze what they love and feel inspired, so compelled that they go out and do something about it, go and get a girlfriend. At least try for it and get experience of in life. You know, I think when there is a difference between experiencing a relationship and then wanting it again just because you got it versus analyzing what happened in it and what you liked about it, what you disliked about it, what your preferences are. I read this beautiful quote recently. It said, when you, if you cannot remember your past, then you're just going to repeat the same thing in your life without realizing it. So analyze, get experience and, think about what things you like. In bed too, you know, in the context of relationships and stuff, with Dua and stuff, I know she's, people, I've read comments on Reddit, people criticizing her for the way she wears clothes. But the clients I talk to, the people I work with for pinups, uh, who love Dua, most people love her and see her lovingly. They love her for her music, for the person she is, and they would love to have met her or have someone like her as a girlfriend. So thinking about her in that context, you know, if, who wouldn't want their girlfriend to wear clothes like Dua if she could, if they could hang out that way, right? That would be amazing. I would want that. I would want my girlfriend to do that. Totally. And so these are the themes that I love to explore. Like even whether in public or in private, in the bedroom too, like people don't wear, like normal clothes in the bedroom. This is a sacred, special, intimate occasion. So, these are the things that girlfriends are doing for their boys. And, so if you could have anything you want, what would you like? Would you like her to wear a thong? Would you like her to wear an undone bikini? Or what do you like? Like office clothes and a thong with office clothes, and all of these interesting situations that are possible, that are beautiful. You can get these, and it's a matter of imagination, isn't it? So when you know these things, and most people know them, but it requires massaging and stimulation to understand what they are in particular, not just being subject to a hot picture on the net and getting all hurt and felt about it, like, ah, oh, that's so hot, oh my God. It's about knowing when you see that, I know what this is. This is like, this is like a shelf bra, or this is a shelf bra configuration. I love, when this particular thing happens. It's reaching for that feeling of love, that ideal, isn't it? it's relationships are two way, isn't it? In order to feel love, you must offer love. And it's both ways. When you offer love, you get love as well. It's a beautiful book called The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman. That's the one that discusses these love languages: physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, acts of service. There's a nice quiz online that you can take on the website. Yeah, it tells you what your primary language might be. You should take that quiz. Beautiful book. And it works with other relationships too, with your parents, work, friends. Every person has a primary love language. And if you speak in that love language, then they feel loved in particular. And there is only one particular love language that the person prefers. So if you talk in other languages, even if it's your language, they may not feel loved. It's like, you know, learning to speak other languages as well. We usually speak the one that we enjoy the most, and we try to give love in that language to others. This part over here, this I borrowed from James Martin. Uh, I think it is too sharp for my effect that I built up all over here, like all of a sudden. But it's okay. It's a point of contrast. I think he's a beautiful kind of artist. He does amazing things with shape. Just amazing. The way he sees these women, he makes them look beautiful. You know, he expresses them in a beautiful way. I think that is what Pen Up is about. It is, imagine someone drew Taylor Swift and they drew her in this kind of a butt on her. I mean, that would just be degrading, right? It's about studying it, analyzing it properly, and it's professional, no less, no further. Like you're sitting with a model, it's no less, no further. Like Titanic, isn't it? He draws his girlfriend, no less, no further. So don't be, feel motivated to objectify in, uh, you know, objectification is good in the context of relationships. The the rape style objectification that we talked about is the objectification that most people will know. But when you're in a relationship, when you're the girl or you're the boyfriend, it is your husband and wife. It is good to have objectification in the relationship. It gives you a sense of appreciation for how your body is, who you are, how the partner would like you to be. What you know, it is a bond. It's beautiful. I read this article on the benefits of objectification of relationships. It was beautiful. So in that sense, uh, you know, it's good to not just it's not about exposing the butt or displaying the butt, but it is about expressing the butt, expressing the moment that you're feeling. So that was what I was feeling in these, you know, curvilinear, these curves. They were like flowers. I was subconsciously feeling that, and that was one reason was because of Anthony Ryder, because he describes things this way. I saw a video of him once where he was showing a collar of a person, and he said it was like a flower, like a blooming flower, this way. And he said if there were a history of collars, a book about the history of collars, I would love to read one. I don't know that if one exists, but it would be nice if it did. It probably does. Uh, yeah, that subconsciously was going through my mind. I love doing this. And then this hand too, I made it like a tiger, very like muscular, vascular. What do you think about these tiger stripes? I tried a few compositions. Did one where it was like this too, this way curve. What do you think about that? Cool.